Ready to get the fit body of your dreams? Welcome to the FITBODY Podcast. I'm Julie Laurie, an IFBB fitness pro, certified personal trainer, and nutrition coach. Back in 2004, I created one of the world's first online personal training programs and have helped thousands of women transform their bodies and their lives online ever since. I've been featured in fitness magazines worldwide and even competed on American Ninja Warrior. But my passion is helping women love both how they look and how they feel through balanced workouts and healthy eating. Welcome to the FITBODY Podcast. Two separate, unique breast cancers, only a year and a half apart? That's right. I have gone through breast cancer twice now, once on each breast. And by the grace of God, I'm here to tell you my story. When I was first diagnosed at 46 years old, the lump that I had suspected could be cancerous was something I had actually found when I was 44. That's right, 18 very long months, 4 mammograms, and 3 ultrasounds between when I felt the first lump and when I actually had the biopsy confirming the cancer diagnosis. And that was just for the first cancer. That's right. There was a second time. The second time around, I had a clean breast MRI in December. So no cancer was found, no tumors in December. I had my next mammogram in April. Again, nothing was found. 3 weeks later, through a self-breast exam, I found another lump that again ended up being an invasive carcinoma. With the first cancer, I opted for a lumpectomy with radiation as my treatment. When I found the second cancer, I knew right away I had already made the decision. Both of the girls were fired, and instead I was going to be moving forward with a double mastectomy. I have since had that surgery. I've had the tissue expanders placed, and I have had the final swap surgery to implants. Luckily, I didn't need chemotherapy for either of the cancers, but both of them were hormone positive, which means I'm going to be on hormone suppression therapy for at least the next 5 years. Through this process, I've learned a lot, but more than anything else, I've learned that you have to be your own healthcare advocate. I want to step back at this point and help demystify this process. So if you have been diagnosed with breast cancer, if someone you know or love has been diagnosed, or you just need more information about what all of this is about, I want to help fill in some gaps here and give you some of that information. So keep in mind, I am not a medical professional. The information that I'm sharing is based on my personal experience and, of course, all of the research that I have done throughout my personal cancer journey. So what exactly is breast cancer? Well, cancer starts when the cells in your breast, which are normally healthy and fairly well behaved, decide to act up and grow uncontrollably. This growth forms what we call a tumor. Now, tumors can be 2 types. They can be cancerous or non-cancerous, which is also known as benign. A cancerous tumor is malignant. So that's the term for a cancerous tumor. It's sneaky because it can not only grow, but also spread to other parts of your body. Individual cells from that tumor can break away through your lymph system and spread to different parts of your body and continue to grow there. On the other hand, a benign tumor is one that's more well-behaved. It can grow too, but it doesn't have the nasty habit of spreading like malignant tumors. So when you're diagnosed with breast cancer, one of the first things they're going to do is determine what stage you are at. So breast cancer is broken basically into 4 stages, and they help describe how much the cancer has grown and whether it has decided to take a road trip to other parts of your body or not. So I said there's 4 stages. Actually, there's technically 5 because stage 0 is a thing. So the least invasive type of cancer for breast cancer is stage 0. In this early stage, so stage 0 is also sometimes called in situ. At this point, the cancer cells are just hanging out in a milk duct or a lobule of your breast. So they haven't made any major moves. They're in that one specific area. With stage 1, the cancer has started to stretch its legs a bit. So it's still small and localized, but it's beginning to get bigger and break outside of the milk duct or the lobule. Tumors in stage 1 are generally under 2 centimeters, and they haven't ventured outside the breast and they haven't reached your lymph nodes. So still contained, but they're contained within the breast, haven't gone into your lymph system, but they are outside of the milk duct or the lobule itself. So they've broken out a bit, but they are still under 2 centimeters. You're considered stage 3, which is a bit more advanced if the tumor is larger. So tumors between 2 and 5 centimeters, or tumors that have spread to your lymph nodes. If you have either of those situations, then it's considered stage 2. So a bit bigger tumor or it's gone into your lymph nodes. So stage 3 is when things become a bit more serious. This is when the tumor is over 5 centimeters and it's spread more extensively into the lymph nodes under your arm or even into nearby tissues like your chest wall. Stage 4 is the most advanced, and it's called metastatic breast cancer. At this point, the cancer has gone through your bloodstream into your lymphatic system and can invade into other parts of your body, like your bones, your lungs, your liver, or your brain. Staging of your cancer is really important because it gives your medical team a lot of information about how best to treat your particular type of cancer. So when I was first diagnosed, one of the questions that I wanted to know, of course, is what stage is this? How treatable is my cancer? So the doctors are going to do several things. The first is they're going to do a clinical exam. So they are going to examine your breast and your lymph nodes. They're going to look for signs of other tumors or if it's palpable, if they're able to feel your actual tumor like mine. And they're going to look for swollen lymph nodes too. That can be an indication that there could be cancer cells that have gotten to your lymph nodes under your arms. And that's where they begin to spread out. From both breasts, they go out to the sides to your lymph nodes. So from there, for staging, imaging is super helpful. So mammograms, ultrasounds, MRIs, those are the things that they're going to utilize to help determine the size and the specific location of the tumor. So with my first diagnosis, I had gone through a mammogram, gone through ultrasound. Once we biopsied and recognized that it was indeed invasive cancer, it was the lobular cancer, I was sent to an MRI. And at that MRI, they did find a second mass and immediately sent me to biopsy like stat. So it was in the morning I had the MRI, in the afternoon I was biopsied for the second, a very large actually, like a 5 to 6 centimeter mass. Luckily, that ended up being benign, so we really were just dealing with the first smaller tumor. But the imaging is an incredible tool for really fine-tuning and figuring out exactly what you're dealing with. I had mentioned biopsies. In biopsy, where they go in, so with a needle and under ultrasound is at least how they did mine, they go in and they take core samples of the tumor itself. And it's really amazing. So they take these individual samples, and from that, they send those off to the lab, and they're able to confirm a lot of specific information about the tumor. So when those biopsied cells are placed under the microscope, they will be able to tell specifically which area the tumor came from. So was it part of the duct? Was it part of the lobule? They'll be able to tell a lot more to confirm the specific type of cancer. From there, a lymph node evaluation is going to go and check under your arm. So the lymph system is what will shuttle cells through your body to take cancer from one area to another. So to find out if you have like a stage 4 or metastatic cancer or if it has spread anywhere else in your body. Evaluating the lymph nodes and seeing if there's individual cells there really is helpful. And then depending on your situation, you may have other specific testing like blood work or genetic testing. I did have genetic testing done, and I am negative for any kind of breast cancer gene, which interestingly, only 10% of the women who come down with breast cancer actually have the BRCA gene as the primary genetic marker. But only 10% have a genetic background or family history with it. Most women that get breast cancer, there's no genetic component to it. When I was first diagnosed, I was really surprised to find out that not all cases of breast cancer are associated with a family history. In fact, the majority of women that are diagnosed don't have any kind of family history of the disease. Approximately 85 to 90% of the breast cancer cases occur in women with no family history. That means only about 10 to 15% have some kind of history. Now, it does increase your risk a bit, especially if you have a first-degree relative like your mom or your sister or your daughter that's had the disease. So as soon as I found out, I did let my family know, and they have all since been genetically tested as well. But the majority of breast cancer cases are believed to result from a combination of genetic, hormonal, environmental, lifestyle, all of these kind of factors, rather than a direct family history. It's important to know that genetic testing and counseling can help individuals with a family history of breast cancer better understand their particular risks. So if you are identified as a woman that has a specific gene mutation like the BRCA1 or BRCA2 genes, that significantly increases your risk of breast cancer. So women with these mutations do have a higher likelihood of developing breast cancer. Information is really helpful so that you can be proactive in managing your risk factors. But I really was surprised that 10 to 15% is the amount of women that do have some kind of family history, but that most really don't. Okay, so let me share some numbers and some statistics with you. Globally, breast cancer has become the most commonly diagnosed cancer in women, surpassing even lung cancer. In 2020 alone, over 2.2 million new cases were diagnosed worldwide. That's a crazy number. In the United States, there are more women diagnosed with breast cancer than any other type of cancer except skin cancer. It's like a silent epidemic. 1 in every 3 new female cancers are breast cancer. And 1 in 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer at some point in their lives. This is something incredibly common. The good news is, early detection is making a huge difference. In 2023, they estimate around 300,000 women in the U.S. will receive a diagnosis of invasive breast cancer. Another 55,000 will be diagnosed with the In situ breast cancer, so the non-invasive stage 0. As I've been doing more and more research, I found it really interesting and scary that the numbers are increasing. So yes, we have more sophisticated detection now, which is a really good thing because we're catching breast cancer a lot earlier. However, the percentage is also increasing of women that are getting breast cancer. And most experts attribute this to factors like excess body weight, declining fertility rates, and delay of first births. So those are things that experts believe are increasing the rate at which women are getting breast cancer. And it's not only a women's issue. I mean, I deal with women's health and fitness, but men can get breast cancer too. In fact, almost 3,000 men this past year were diagnosed with invasive breast cancer. So it really can affect us all. What is good to know is that there are close to 4 million women living with breast cancer and beyond breast cancer in the United States right now. We're survivors and we have come a long way, but sadly, we can't ignore the fact that breast cancer still takes lives. In 23, so this past year, an estimated 43,000 women died from breast cancer in the U.S. Globally, it's the 5th leading cause of death among women. One of the reasons I am so very passionate about getting out the word about the importance of self-breast exams is because catching breast cancer early is incredibly important. In fact, when you catch breast cancer at stage 0 or 1, the 5-year survival rate is 99% from the disease. So about 66% of the women are diagnosed with breast cancer at this stage. That's a number I want to see going up. And the way that we're going to do that is with routine mammograms, ultrasounds, and very importantly, self-breast exams. Early detection has saved my life, and I hope that sharing my story and getting you more information, I hope that I can help make a difference in your life too. All right, thank you for joining me for this episode of the FITBODY Podcast. I will be back soon with more women's fitness information. Thank you for joining me on the FITBODY Podcast. Looking forward to sharing more health and fitness information with you soon. Want more information about my online personal training for women or the world's best supplements and protein powder? Check out fitbody.com for more info.